this is a unique one for me because we started, stopped, and now we're starting again. But we'll see how it goes.
Okay, we're ready. Good evening. I'd like to call the May 13th, 2020 meeting of the Long Branch City Council. Would like to have it now come to order. Roll call.
Mr. Vieira? Mr. Vieira?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Here.
And Mr. Dangler?
Here. We'll now recite the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance
To the
flag
flag
Flag.
of the United
United States of America,
and
to the
and
republic
to the republic
Which
for which
is
it stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
God.
indivisible,
indivisible.
with
liberty
liberty
and justice
Justice.
for all.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been posted in the newspaper in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
Thank you. We have no presentations this evening. Reading and approval of previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the April 22nd, 2020 meeting.
So moved.
Roll call.
Mr. Vieira?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
And Mr. Dangler?
Yes. Consideration of ordinance, public hearing and final consideration. In regards to ordinance 18-20 entitled Ordinance of the City of Long Branch abandoning, releasing, extinguishing, and vacating the rights of the public to certain city-owned right-of-way off of Morrell Street. I need a motion to carry the public hearing.
Council President, before you ask for a motion for a public hearing, can I be heard?
Yes.
Council President, as you know, this is an application that is made in accordance with the city's ordinance that allows property owners adjacent to right-of-ways that are not open to ask the city to vacate them. The application was made probably more than a year and a half ago. There's certain documents that they have to provide us, surveys, title, and we've gone through that whole process, and the matter was listed for the council's agenda and introduced at the last meeting. Part of the process is notifying adjoining landowners, and in fact, that has happened, and the adjoining landowners have hired counsel. Once that happened, I put the applicant and the adjoining landowners council together and asked them to discuss the matter and see whether or not any of the objections could be resolved by, mutual understanding of the parties. I received a call from Gregory Baxter last week that he and Ron Gazarowski, who is the attorney for one of the objectors, have asked that we carry this matter into our June 10th hearing to give them the opportunity to work out any differences that they have. That's a recommendation that I think makes sense. So I would ask that there be a motion to table this matter to June 10th. It will continue the public hearing, and it will carry the public hearing until that date without further notice, and it'll be held on June 10th. I think it makes sense because we want the parties to work it out. It will continue the public hearing.
Yes, thank you.
We'll carry the public
I need a motion to carry the public hearing till June 10th council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Vieira?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly? Dr. Selly? Dr. Selly?
Yes.
And Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Yes. Ordinance for introduction, we have none. Public participation and resolutions for all general comments. I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If any member of the public has a comment to make, please dial *9 on your phone and a representative will call you by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When you are called upon, please state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
All right, Council President, we have 3 people raising their hands. Caller with the phone number that ends in 580. Go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Daniel Cole Hofford, 149 Atlantic Avenue here in Long Branch. A couple things I'd like to bring to the council's attention this evening, if I may. First of all, thank you for your leadership during this most difficult time. I'd like to acknowledge the council and the mayor and the support staff administration of the city of Long Branch for doing an outstanding job in guiding us through this most difficult time and supporting all the residents of the city. Secondly, sadly, I just wanted to make the council aware, if you weren't already, the former mayor, Henry Skippy Chaffee, passed away recently. And I would hope that in a future session, the council will bring forth a resolution acknowledging his many contributions to the city of Long Branch as mayor and a big supporter of the city for many, many years. So those were the first 2 things. I do want to go back to the pool facility. I think this is my last shot to the rodeo here, as we say. And I wanted to go back to the master plan that was last adopted in 2010. It's the last one that I could find online. And just bring your attention to a couple things that may influence your decision-making as to where best to put this facility. Again, I've been on the record as supporting the facility. I do believe that we should have a municipal pool in the city of Long Branch available for the residents. And I think it would be a great thing. I do think the location that's been suggested in Pleasure Bay Park is not the right place for the following reasons. And again, this mostly comes from the master plan. On page 5 of the master plan, the city is pursuing certification from Sustainable New Jersey. Among other things, the certification involves managing issues such as global warming, pollution, biodiversity, land use, air, and water quality. Land use and water quality, those were direct quotes. This is more, we're going to have to deal with runoff. We're going to have to deal with the flooding condition that already exists in that part of the Atlantic Avenue and on the ball fields. On page 7, item 2 in the goals section of the master plan, provide a healthy balance of land use that preserves the residential character of the neighborhood while providing convenient commercial and retail opportunities to acquire goods, services, and employment. Now, I would think that putting a facility like this more towards the middle of town, where more people could get to it and more people could access it and more people could use it, might be a better use of the land that we might have available. Using existing parkland for this project, is a problem for me. On page 7, item 11, preserve the city's natural resources to protect water quality, manage stormwater, reduce potential for flood damage, protect endangered habitats, and provide open space. That's what this is all about. On page 8, item 15, preserve, maintain, and develop a comprehensive open space system that provides passive and active recreation opportunities, preserves sensitive lands, creates connected green and blue ways, and provides environmental educational opportunities. In the objectives section on page 9, coordinate planning efforts with the Board of Education, continue open space acquisition efforts. So all these things point me to thinking that this valuable and important objective to develop this a pool is noteworthy and should be pursued. But again, I think when you look at the NJDEP guidelines for the city regarding the amount of open space we have for recreation, according to the population standard, we're short 110 acres as it is. Pleasure Bay is 5.19 acres in the middle of a residential area. I think we can do better. So again, I call on the council to table this for the time being, take a second look, find a way to look at it with the different, maybe the planning board, maybe several concerned citizens, and we can move forward with a more reasonable looking at all the opportunities in Long Branch to put this facility. So I thank you for listening to me and taking the time to open the public commentary to all of us. And we do appreciate your continuing support and dedication to the city of Long Branch. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, caller whose phone number ends in 198. Go ahead.
Good evening, Madam Clerk. I'm requesting 1 minute notification. Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. Mr. Martin, I have a few questions for you. What is the city's average weighted interest rate on all long-term bonded indebtedness?
I would have to investigate that further and get back to you with an answer, but I would say between 3 and 5%.
All right. Do you intend to issue bonds to cover temporary shortfall in property tax payments?
As of today, no, but I do reserve the right to do that in the future.
All right. Is the city adding anything to the budget to cover anticipated tax revenue shortfalls?
We are analyzing all our anticipated revenues and appropriations at this time.
All right. Since the municipalities don't get to delay quarterly taxes to the county, how does the city intend to cover for both the county and school obligations?
We have currently collected enough taxes to cover those obligations for now,
For how long?
until the next tax quarter.
Next tax quarter. All right. Citing the city's year-end date statement and the numbers from that debt statement, with long-term bonds at $46.9 million, is the city going to refund a good portion of this so as to provide the residents of this city some type of tax relief?
We will analyze all options, but many of those bonds are not callable, so they cannot be refunded.
Is there any consideration that the $21 million in bond anticipation notes can be added to the refunding of the $46.9 million in long-term bonds?
Currently, there is no refunding planned for the 46 million. And the 21 million bond anticipation notes will probably be sold later this year in 2020.
All right. Since the long-term bond rates are at historic low levels, when does the city anticipate terming out the $21 million in bond anticipation notes?
Terming out, do you mean by selling or having a maturity schedule?
Maturity schedule.
I think those bonds are for 30 years.
30 years. So the city doesn't anticipate terming them out any sooner.
That'll have to be a discussion with bond counsel at the time of sale.
All right. As the CFO, have you been able to estimate any revenue loss to this city as of April of this year, particularly with licensing fees, permitting fees, et cetera?
Some licensing and permitting fees have stumbled in April, and also court fees.
Court fees have stumbled. All right. All right. I'm looking at Resolution 8520. I'm a little concerned about this. It's not particularly to you now, Mr. Martin. It's to the governing body. The Assembly Bill 83917, a resolution to support coronavirus relief bonds. I don't think so. Not for Long Branch. For other municipalities that have exercised fiscal integrity, I can see it. But this, for general purposes, this bond is for general purposes. I just, no. The tax abatements we have in multiples of 10 and 30 years don't justify this government going out and doing any bonding, particularly relief bonding, until you get a handle on these tax abatements and null and void them. It'll be a cruel day when this city goes ahead for relief bonding for COVID, related expenses for
Mr. Lepore,
general
you have 1 minute,
purposes.
sir.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. While at the same time going out and having Kushner and other developers with multiple 30-year and 10-year abatements in this city, we're bonding with the right hand, and then with the left hand, we continue giving tax abatements, long-term tax abatements. What a social inequity. What a cruelty. The fiscal integrity starts right here in Long Branch. The revenue from the tax abatements comes first before any COVID bonding would take place for general purposes. We're losing that. What's the debt right now, Mr. Martin, on Board of Education?
The amount of debt that the board has?
Yeah, that we have to cover. 14 mil about? So the Board of Ed is
Thank
suffering
you,
and we're still
Mr.
giving
Boyer.
out tax abatements. The junk government has to end.
All right. User whose phone number ends in 385. Go ahead.
This is Laura Tarlow, 52 Baruch Drive. I want to thank the council members for all your efforts concerning saving us and protecting us during these times. As a relatively new member of the community, I'd like to know what is the process to have an item added to the council meeting for future discussion?
Items are only added by members of the council or the administration.
And so the public is not in a position to have items added?
No, ma'am, they're council meetings.
Okay. I'm curious in terms of the community pool. I support, like the previous speaker, the fact that the town and city has a community pool. What I'd like to try to understand is why in the council process we have third and fourth readings on so many resolutions, but in terms of the pool, it was presented as fact and established without any public participation. Could you explain why?
Well,
No
so
participation.
resolutions only do not have, they have only one hearing. They only have one time that they're on an agenda. So resolutions are only on the agenda once. Ordinances have a first reading and a second reading. So there's only two. So we approved a contract for this, and this contracts require only resolutions and not ordinances. So that's why it was done by resolution.
And so the council felt that there was no need to have any community input as to location of the pool. Is that true?
You know, I'm sorry, I'm having difficulty hearing Ms. Tarlow. Could somebody repeat the question?
I am too.
I'll repeat the question. The question is, why did the council feel they were able to pursue location of the pool at the Pleasure Bay Park without any community input?
Lou, I'm sorry. Could somebody repeat the question for me?
I think that the question was, why did the council not seek public input before the location of the pool? And I think just to take, the mayor may want to add to this also, you know, the staff is charged with making these kind of recommendations, and they reviewed the existing parks and determined that was an appropriate place for it. And I'll note that the gentleman a couple of speakers ago talked about the master plan, and he stopped short in his reading of the master plan to I think it was the next section and the next bullet point that said that we should encourage the development of active recreation in current parks. So obviously this is an action that is taken, with some guidance from the master plan, but Mayor, I don't know whether you want to add.
Well, the only thing, Ms. Tarlow, is, I remember your questions that you asked, we got some information on for the next meeting or so. So I did want to say a few things which I think would be of interest to you. I mean, the first, I know you were at the presentation that we made. So you know that we have a $2.1 million pool complex that's at no cost to the taxpayer. So we have no debt for the construction of the pool, and we're going to be providing jobs for both local residents and students of Long Branch. Now, the traffic department, engineering department, if you have a question for Ms. Newman, who's our city engineer, who I know you've spoken to as a past, she's certainly on the line if you have any questions about engineering. But in any event, and Mr. Kohlhofer, this, if you're still on, this should address some of your questions too. But in any event, the traffic department, engineering, DPW, and recreation departments have all been consulted.
Ms. Tarlo, there's 1 minute left for your comment.
Sure.
Then I'll just ask Mayor
I'm sorry,
if I'll just ask the mayor if Ms. Newman could have perhaps a Zoom meeting with the neighbors on Baruch and Atlantic Avenue and the Pleasure Bay apartment complex. We all have engineering questions about the flood conditions.
You know, Ms. Tarlo, I apologize. Could somebody repeat the question again for me?
The question is whether or not the city engineer would have a Zoom meeting with the residents on Baruch so that they could ask her questions concerning drainage.
That they could have their questions what?
They could ask questions concerning drainage and other engineering conditions.
I'm sorry.
They would like to have a Zoom meeting with Laura Newman to discuss their engineering concerns regarding the pool.
Yeah, well, you had asked about that, Ms. Tarlo. I think we could arrange that.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Tarlo.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, Mayor, her 5 minutes?
Perhaps, thank you, but perhaps Ms. Tarlo could just contact the mayor's office and give us some contact information. And then
Sure.
we could talk about trying to coordinate that.
Yeah, and I think Ms. Tarlo, that I mentioned that in our email exchange that you'd welcome that. You know, I know we talked about after the pandemic or after this is over, but I think we could arrange something absolutely with the engineer, some form of Zoom meeting if you would like to have ask those questions. Sure.
Council President, there are no other callers at this time.
Thank you. I need a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Resolutions, we could take the list of resolutions as a consent agenda. We have a motion,
So moved. Second.
roll call,
Mr. Viera,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
and Mr. Dangler.
yes. On the applications, we have none. Miscellaneous business for the good of the order, Councilman Vieira.
Good evening, and thank you for being out there listening to us. I'd like to do a belated Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And I hope everybody's staying safe. And keep in mind our boardwalk is open now, so please respect our social distance. And let's keep everybody safe in this crazy epidemic. And thank you and a good night.
Councilwoman Vogt.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Hope everyone remains safe as, we're gradually making progress through this pandemic. I just want to make one comment, and actually it's about a topic that came up several times tonight, which is the master plan. And I just want to bring your attention to a session, an open a YouTube session that the mayor and the city planner will be hosting on Monday night, this coming Monday night, May 18th. I can direct you to the city website for all of the information about that session, and it'll be an opportunity for you to kind of see the whole process from start to finish, get an understanding of that, and provide some input. your input should be given before that session. So please, take some time to visit the website to find out about that session, and also just to look through the website for the tremendous number of resources that are available for people in terms of dealing with the pandemic. That a very nice job has been done on that website. So with that in mind, stay safe, and we're making progress. So good night to everybody.
Councilwoman Wittes.
Good evening. I would like to thank the members of the community who are truly going above and beyond for other people that are in need right now. It brings a sense of closeness, and it's such a sad time, but it's an amazing how people are coming forward and helping others. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Senator Vingo Pell, who's going above and beyond to make every effort to provide, the essential protective gear for our first responders, not only in our community, but other communities surrounding us. We appreciate everything that everyone is doing, and we look forward to someday, being over this, sad time, and, we just need to continue, social distancing and doing the things that we need to do. And anyway, just want to wish everybody a good week, and stay safe. Thank you.
Councilwoman Selly.
Yes, hello, everybody. I have three things I'd like to say tonight. First of all, to remind you again about the hearing on the master plan, which will be Monday night, and you can watch it on YouTube. The second thing is, don't forget Memorial Day. Even though we may not be able to be all together, there will be some type of celebration. So remember Memorial Day. And then first and foremost, please stay safe and be healthy. Thank you.
Mayor Pallone.
Yes, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight or for calling in. Ms. Tarlow, if you're still on the line and listening, I apologize we'll try to fix this out, for some reason I wasn't hearing your questions. But please do call the office, or I know that you have my cell phone number. I'd certainly like to address some of the questions that you had asked at the last meeting, because I have them here. And yes, we would definitely arrange for a meeting with residents and Ms. Newman to discuss this further, at least to let you know, the decisions that we made or came to. I want to remind, and Mr. Kohlhofer, same thing, if you'd like to give me a call. I want to remind all our residents that although the boardwalk is now open, to please maintain social distancing. Some of the other council members have talked about the community meeting of the master plan reexamination. I'm just going to repeat it once more. Our 2020 master plan reexamination community meeting is May 18th from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Please send your questions to masterplan@longbranch.org. That's masterplan@longbranch.org. We want feedback and encourage residents to email questions. To view and participate in this meeting, please check our website or social media. There'll be a presentation by Ms. Newman, a few introductory remarks by myself and our planner, Nick Graviano, and then we will also have, you can call in for some questions on the telephone after the presentation as well. Our Economic Development Department, Library, and Chamber of Commerce have all come together to make a new program called Back to Business. This program is designed to help businesses get back on their feet during this difficult time. If you're a business that needs help right now applying for grants or even help with social media, please reach out to us. And finally, I'd like to end by thanking all of our food pantries for going above and beyond for our residents here in town. We're able to help by giving food, and we just want our pantries to know we're there for them. If you or someone you need needs access to a food pantry, please see the complete list on our website or social media. And I just want to also end with just thank you to everyone for those who have donated, for those essential workers, non-essential workers, just everyone. This is a very difficult time for all of us. We'll get through this. And to the City Council, thank you for, and administration, thank you for all your input, because pretty much every decision that we've made, they've been an important part of it. So again, thank you all for tuning in tonight, if you're tuning in or calling, and have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, once again. I would just like to first, as I've done and we've done for the past few council meetings, thank the first responders. Thank all of those food pantries, as the mayor just mentioned, because there are a lot of people who are hurting just normally, and now that they really can't get out and can't even do the small jobs that they may have been able to do to make ends meet, they're not even able to do that. So I do thank all of those people who are trying to make a way for the less fortunate during this time. On another note, I would like to, I know that we're about to open up our boardwalks, which means there'll be people on the beach. And pretty soon the weather is going to break. I just want to say that I am against opening up our boardwalk because, and I know we're all tired of being inside. I realize that it's a tough time, but it's a tough time for everyone. But I'm just not comfortable that we are really taking it seriously enough in regards to the social distancing once we get down on the beach or to the beach, to the boardwalk. We've been observing, and maybe 20%, maybe less than that, are even wearing masks as they're walking on the boardwalk. And that is a concern. And because we know that as per the experts, we could have a second wave of COVID-19, and it could hit us even worse than this first one. So I just think I'm not comfortable opening up, and I just wanted to say that for the record. And I'm going to leave you with this, and I'm not saying this to offend anyone, but I spoke to a very, very good and supportive friend of mine, rabbi, about my concern and how I would address this. And he gave me this parable, if you will, Nazi concentration camp. The father's son was about to be killed. Father said that to a rabbi, "I have diamonds inside my pocket. Do you think if I gave them a couple, they would release my son?" The rabbi said, "No, they are still going to destroy or kill 500. That was their order. So if they take your son out, they're going to bring someone else in." The moral of the story: when is it okay to destroy one diamond for another? I'm just saying that I know financially businesses are hurting, and all the things that we're dealing with right now, but it's too soon for us to just have a free-for-all on the beach. And it's just human nature. Once we have thousands of people out on that beach, and they're not going to be social distancing, it's a real concern. And again, I say it respectfully, not trying to offend anyone, but I just need to get that off my chest so people understand where I stand in this particular matter. Thank you very much. You have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Good night.
Mm.
Right.
Good night.
Good night.
Hi, everybody.
Night.